One quote that I would say that I live by is I aspire to inspire before I expire. This is Porter Holly, aka Upscale Luxury, up and coming actor / interior design. And this is episode 4 of the Dan Show.
Holly,
My brother,
what's going on, man?
nothing much, man.
It's good to see you. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. I see you've been real active recently. We can jump right into it. Go ahead and tell the folks how Upscale Luxury started and how it's grown into the thing it has become today.
How Upscale Luxury started, the real story, like I say, I had a homegirl, had a big following on MySpace, and she just had people sending her free stuff all the time. That was my main goal when I started it.
Mm-hmm.
So around when when Instagram was first getting started and people getting popular off of it, I was trying to find my niche, and I was like, what can I do? Like, so I literally was managing probably around 40 pages. I used to have like food pages, like style pages, like with clothes and stuff. But like I said, I went to school for interior design and stuff, so I always had I still had like my hard drive from college of like just like a bunch of houses, like interiors and I was like, I'm just gonna start a page with this, and then I'm gonna have dope captions on it, cause like I read a lot, so. And mine weren't going to be like the captions that a lot of people use, like the cheesy stuff. You can make it if you keep trying.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of my captions, like I don't try and like they used to be very controversial at first, and people they'll disagree with them, and that's kind of what I kind of got a big following off that, like people just interacting in it at first.
Off like the engagement.
Yeah,
of
the
the post.
engagement. Like people say like, what is it called? Like if people go against the grain, it's like that's how you literally will build a following, because if everyone goes with it, because people like they'll disagree with it. And I'll tell some people, like, some of the stuff I won't even agree with. I just know it'll start a conversation and get people to talking.
Yeah, be a talking point.
So that was actually the bigger drawing to Upscale Luxury, the nice pictures. I'm like, it was the captions. So, people like, I don't really agree with this. And, a lot of them were like, about success and money motivated. So a lot of people, everything's not about success. Everything's not about money. And, like, a lot of the captions I'll tell you, like, you probably say some stuff I agree with, just because like our opinion is different. It don't mean I think yours wrong. It just means life taught us different lessons.
Yeah.
And it's like this is what I've known, and this is what has helped me to get to where I am. So you can definitely disagree with it, and I can understand where you're coming from.
I've looked in a few times with some interactions you've had with some people under some posts, and you always keep it very even when they try to like pull it out of you, you always keep it very like, we don't have to agree on this or about this. Like, you never take it. People want to take it there with you. You never go there with them.
Oh yeah, you'll never.
So
get
I commend your level of professionalism online, because it's real easy for people to want to just do that thing. Yeah. People get a rise out of that.
Nah, it's like saying it was mainly about positivity and stuff. And like that's what literally I delete negative comments. Like people just. Because like once it gets big enough, people just gonna come just leave crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just about positivity. Like if you coming over there with some negative stuff, I keep the comments where they come straight to my phone. Like I'm gonna delete it, not gonna let it get any type of traction whatsoever. So like no, I definitely I've certain time people will DM me, but like nah, I'm just not gonna publicly. You'll never see me acting out on social media. Like, oh yeah, that's good. Sometimes people just want a reaction. Like some people will agree with you. They're like. Especially if you ignore somebody for a while, then eventually like, oh man, I agree with you, man. I just want you to respond to me, man.
Yeah.
But nah, like I say, a lot of people like they feel some type of way. I know my DMs are always welcome to come in and we can speak about it, and I can give you why. Like I'm not gonna be underneath a posting and trying to give you this is why this is what I went through in life, and this is why I think this.
Yeah.
Because like I say, a lot of people sometimes they just want a reaction, and like I said, I just wanted to keep the page all about positivity. Like I said, I still to this day. Just delete negative comments. Like if you're just saying, people just going and saying racist, homophobic stuff. Like I delete all negativity from the page, because the page is supposed to be about all positivity, tranquility, and just like making yourself a better you.
Well, the page is really crazy, and for me, we kind of talked about it on the way here or before. I never knew you had like a love for interior design and like and luxury homes. I know you since you and your brother since in middle school. So how you go from hooping, a guy that was pretty damn good at basketball, to the love of this kind of like content in terms of producing interior design content?
I say it was something that was instilled into me. Like I said, how you said, a lot of people, I didn't take it seriously, especially when in college. A lot of people like me, a young black guy, could not do this, like, like interior design and stuff. And like, especially back when I was trying to get in around 2009, 2000, the world just isn't where it is today as in accepting people as who they are. I'm like, young black guy moving to Miami, he can't get into interior design unless you're a certain type of way. Mm-hmm. And like now with the progression of everything, like now everybody like if you want to do this, like you can do whatever you want to do. But the world wasn't as open as it was to it now. Like seeing a guy like me from being from the west side of Atlanta into an interior design, and like I was saying, people wonder where it come from. Like of course me being from the west side, neither one of my parents are in it. Like, and it was something that actually like I got from my mom, but she instilled it in me by mistake. Like she literally wouldn't. She wouldn't buy me like the Vibe XXL magazines or anything when we went to Kroger or anything because she just wasn't a rap fan whatsoever. She didn't like them sagging their pants and all this. So she always had Architectural Digest magazines around the house. So I literally used to just look at the pictures, look at the houses, and like between that and like GQ, I would say like this that's all I've read like because like I'm an avid reader. Another reason is because of my mother, and it's not because she did anything. I just didn't have a TV in my room growing up or anything, so I just had to read, or of course read magazines or read books. She used to always say, when we say we were bored, she's like, go read the dictionary, and it was like I got that from just like looking at Architectural Digest, and it was just something that's like if you do something for so long, I was just reading the magazines and looking at the picture for so long, I just started to pick up on it. Like my mom started noticing around probably like around high school, like my room just starts like your room's kind of nice, like it was like. Nobody else's room is this nicely decorated. And this is around when IKEA first got here, so I was in IKEA a lot. And like I was saying, it was something instilled to me that, of course, my mother did it. Like I'll tell people like the captions, it came from me like reading a lot of books and stuff because I didn't have a TV in my room growing up.
Not to cut you off, but I guarantee you to this day, amongst your peers, you still have the coolest room. I guarantee you that tradition has lived on. So there's a lot of different things we could talk about. One question I want to ask you is, you obviously are into very like nice and upscale and luxury properties and estates and like the picture side of it. And you also are into interior design, in terms of knowing how to set things up. Mm-hmm. Even shoot wise, you know how to set things up. When is the photography gonna come? Because I feel like all you missing is the equipment.
Oh yeah, that's definitely coming because like I say, most people, I don't like depending on people because people don't like, and you can't even get mad at most people because people just don't see your vision. And it's like, say if you want like some pictures done, like most photographers, they'll be like, you want to get your picture back for a week or two, and you're like, oh man, I kind of need this week.
Yeah.
And they could get it back, but I'm pretty sure other people have obligations and their own dreams to focus on, so they can't like. That's why, like, when you have a team, you have to have people who believe in the vision. Even like, your dreams aren't tangible to people. They can't see what your thought process is. Like, okay, we need to get this out. We're trying to get these endorsements. Mm-hmm. So most people, when you're doing stuff with them, like that's literally how I learned how to like stage my own photos. Like I do my own photo shoots. I take my own pictures of myself, and it's because like photographers, they just like literally like 3 weeks, like, hey, my guy, what happened to those pictures? And they were like, got backed up, man. Sorry, this happened. Like, life happens to a lot of people, and you can't get mad at them. But you're like, I kind of need it, especially if you pay for something. Like, you just expect like good business acumen, and like a lot of people don't do that. And like then you'll say you owe somebody something like saying a lot of my stuff. Like I'm trying to get endorsements or stuff. Like so, if I'm taking a picture, I'm like, okay, I was supposed to have this posted a few days ago, so I'm waiting on your picture to come through. So I pretty much just started trying to figure everything out by myself. Like it's saying like. Buy your own ring lights, buy your own backdrops. Like I pretty much take my own pictures. You see a picture of me in my suits and stuff. Like it's probably something I've taken by myself. Yeah. And it's like how you said, like once I get my own professional cameras. Like I have a camera now that I have a homegirl who lent it to me because like I'll tell them like when I take pictures of like my little picnic setups. Yeah. She lent it to me. She's like, no, I can give you like the old camera that I have, like because of course it's going to be better, and of course Like I learned everything by myself from the editing. Like I said, I'll definitely sit and take some classes online. You can learn pretty much anything on YouTube
Oh
nowadays.
yeah,
Like,
YouTube University.
Man, it's
and
like-
when you know Wikipedia, even though it's not always the most reliable, like between YouTube,
Wikipedia's
and
pretty
Wikipedia,
reliable, but
you
not.
can. Well, sometimes you'll have some troll, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
because it's a public. You can publicly
Yeah.
update it. People will troll on there, so
Yeah.
that's the only like flaw to Wikipedia. Mainly, Wikipedia be having to beg people for money, and that'd be sad.
Oh yeah, I always see it.
It'd
I
be
always,
so sad
I
to
always
see
swipe
that.
away.
And then I always click next.
Yeah,
and
like-
then it'd be another one like, are you sure
Like, for
you
real?
can? Because you're still gonna use
then
the
it's
site.
like
you got-
Then it's like $2.99 to $3.99.
right, and I'd be like,
man, I can buy some Skittles.
where Bill Gates at? Where is Elon Musk at? He can't say Wikipedia. You want to go to Mars? Can we say Wikipedia first? Anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you questions that I'm sure a lot of people that first meet you ask. At what point did your did the styling shift from regular sports gear to like suits and like a really more of would you describe it is dapper the proper word?
Well,
Yeah, right. I don't know if that's
I would say it's just more of a that happened around I was about 23. Like I said, I really didn't. I was going through a major trying to figure out what I'm going to do in life. I just moved back from Miami, and one of my friends' mom, who was actually my lawyer, she got me in this program called Year Up Atlanta. So I'm actually pretty good at computers as well. Like it was like a one year intense training program. 6 years, 6 months. You're dually enrolled in classes, and you learn pretty much how to take a computer apart with your hands. And then last 6 months, you're enrolled in internship at a Fortune 500 company. But the dress code was business casual, and I think I probably owned about a suit around when I was like 22, 23. And it's like, but they gave you like 2 suits. Like when you first got it, got you a tailor, and they used to have like a little room, like where they got like a bunch of stuff from Goodwill and people donating clothes. And like I remember I was catching Marta around the time, and like I just saw how like people's outlook changed on me, like just walking in, like from nobody wanted to know where I was going, what I was doing when I got on Marta, with just like a regular t-shirt and some jeans on.
yeah.
And it's like once you put a suit on, like I got like a well-fitted suit. People are like, oh, what are you doing? People like, I don't know what
we
you doing,
headed
man.
you headed to an interview?
Yeah,
Or
it's like-
they're interested
Yeah, people
in
that
you.
interested, like you'll sit like even like because when I got the little thing, like I would just go sit in Hooters a lot and like saying like you literally watch people taking interest in you, and you can get your foot in the door just how people like, hey, well I do this. Like nobody wants to know who you are if you don't look like anyone. And like I mean, it was this older lady, I like to see everything. She's like, so I never asked what do you do, and I was like, she never asked what I did until I had a suit on, and I was like, I just like the attention it did, and like it just opened a lot of doors. You can get away with a lot of stuff just by having a suit on. Like you're walking anywhere where you don't have a ticket or anything, and people just like, oh, he looked like he's supposed to be here. And I like so like it was definitely that interaction I had on Marta, like with just like everybody just like, hey man, like there's people just looking at you. Just
Yeah, right. Like whatever you got going on, I support it.
Yeah,
It must be positive.
Yeah,
You got the suit on,
Yeah,
right?
he got the suit on, man.
People
He can't be too bad.
Only assassins do negative things after they get dressed.
And I just like I love the attention that I got, and it opened a lot of doors. Like you get to meet people and figure out who they really are and stuff. Like, oh, you're a business, like especially with business people. Like when I used to go to Hooters a lot, like a lot of businessmen like, oh yeah, well, I do this, take my card, and of course they weren't doing that before. And it was like it'd be people you see like it's the potential to add value. It's like when you walk up on someone's car, like and just like regular, like nobody wants to like, oh, you tell somebody to like roll your window down when you're in a little hoopty on the expressway. People like, oh,
It's like, yeah, right. I'm not gonna
let
do
you
that.
be in a Ferrari or a Maybach. You like roll the window, you be like, oh,
Yeah,
what's in
right.
there?
Yeah, what's
because you
going
think they
on?
have the potential to add value to it. And I was like, that's what it's like wearing a suit. It's like people like, oh man, let's get my card, and then you hit, and then most of the time you hit people like, oh, the dude with the suit. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like people, and it makes you memorable. Like a lot of people, like when I'm out and about in the bars and stuff, a lot of people like, I don't know you, but I see you. Like when you walk in, like I've seen you. You have a presence when you walk in.
Oh yeah, definitely just being around, and of course we've hung out a million times. When you walk in, like the spotlight be on you, and it just not to say that like that's your intention when you go in. It's like, oh, everybody's gonna look at me, but like when you walk in, folks kind of be like, oh, what? And of course, people who know you just like, oh yeah, that's how.
Yeah.
And then the first thing people who don't know you ask is be like, so why you got the suit on? What you just
What-
like,
what
right?
you do?
Right. And I know you get sick of hearing that
Oh,
question.
yeah.
I know that's. So that's why I was like, let me go ahead and just ask it for you, for the folks who don't know you.
Nah, it's like saying like from like you can go anywhere and like how you said like even if like sometimes I'm not very outgoing and very talkative, like I have little phases like because I get to grow with people. Like I remember I got a membership at the High Museum because like I'm not like I don't really understand art for the like I just be saying like this is good art, but you know, it's just like it's like a good crowd to be around. When I was trying to change my scenery, I used to just go hang there, and like most time people would say like you didn't speak like the first 3 days we met, but like people just say like we noticed you, like they were like we saw you come in every Thursday, we'll see you in your suits, you sit over here in the corner, you do your little thing, but it's like people just they notice you whether they say something to you or not, and then like 3 weeks later, like people we have a few drinks, have some wines, people like, hey yeah man, we saw you the first time, man, my wife saw your suit, man, like. We wanted to say something, but we didn't know if we could approach. Like some people are afraid to approach. Like man, we didn't know who you were. We didn't know if you were this big politician. I'm like, man, I'm just a young. And I'm like a younger dude, so like they're like, I'm just in here trying to get around a better crowd of people, man. And I was like, just trying to figure it out. And I was like, yeah, like, we definitely noticed you the first time. Like they can like people will literally know like from what color pocket square you have in your thing to like my suit lapels. Like they're like you had this little YSL pin on. And I was like that was like 2 months ago. And the fact that y'all remember that and they like it makes you memorable.
Well, I think that's a cool attribute that you have is, and it just goes hand in hand with like the content and the stuff you're into. What do you? We'll move past the suit topic. What would you say is the biggest lick you hit off of just having a suit on before you had stuff going? When that was just a new thing, that was like whoa, like this suit thing might need to be permanent.
I mean, it's so much stuff. Like, it's like literally from going on dates to like, I went to Benihana's one time and we ran up a tab with this pretty young lady. And I somehow forgot my wallet. And I went and told the manager, like, yeah, my guy, I'm going to need to run to the house and get my wallet. And he's like, it's like a $300 tab, my boy. He's like, hey, man, I'm about to call the police. But he's like, now I've seen you in here like a few times. Like I've seen how you interact with people and how you carry yourself. Like I'm gonna trust you. And he told me like, had you been one of them guys in here sagging with some true linen jeans, you gonna be in here washing dishes, or I was gonna call the police, my boy.
Yeah.
And I was like,
wow, that's a good one.
Yeah, and it would have made me look bad with the girl because like, man, I'm like, please just let me run. Like I was like, let me run. I'll be like 10 minutes. I'd have to leave anything like a phone. Like he's like, I've seen you in here, like and how you carry yourself. And like I don't even know who you are, or what you do. Like I can just see how you interact with people. But he's like, anyone else, man, you'd have been back here doing dishes with us, my boy. Mm-hmm. And what else? Let me see. I've literally gotten like a lot of events. Like I was up to like 2 weeks ago. I literally, my homie, we went to a little event and we walked through a back door. And I thought this was where we were supposed to walk in. And like my homie, Steve-O pulled up. They were like, yeah, asking like $40 out there. I'm like, we just walked in. They like, and my homie's like, yeah, they didn't check you because you had a suit. Because everybody like, they kind of pointed at you when you walked in. They like, nobody said anything because you don't want to say anything with a suit guy. I'm like, that's the boss right there. Like, oh yeah.
Nah, that's Diddy.
No, and that's so crazy you said Diddy. I did the first Revolt Media conference. I was down there. He follows Upscale Luxury. I met him. I did like a little shadowing thing with him, and it was like 9 in the morning, and they was like, where's the shadow? And it was me with a suit on. He's like, oh, that's what I'm talking about right there. 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
I thought you ran something here, man. I was like, and that was definitely a good experience down there in Revolt. Like people say, we could be in Miami at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna have a suit on because people gonna literally want like, who is that? And like he was like, man, I thought you were working for one. I was like, I'm the intern. Like I'm the dude here for free. And he was like, that's crazy. He said that. And that's definitely a great experience I've got from Upscale Luxury. It opens so many doors. Like. Because you'll send somebody, it's a potential to add value thing. You send somebody a DM from your personal Instagram page. You be like, you got like 2,000-3,000 followers. They're like, nah, but once they see that 100,000 too, they're like, hey, let me open this up. Let me see what this guy has to say.
Yeah.
And that's all I tell people. Like, it's not the number with the Upscale Luxury. It's the quality of people that follow me. Like some people can potentially open doors.
You gotta have the right following. It's not all about the numbers. The numbers help, but
the numbers help.
It's the right people.
Yeah, it's like people. I'll tell you like because like all it is like that's what social media has given us. Like I didn't know it was going to become. Like I said, with my homegirl with MySpace, it was just the numbers. Like it's like you're literally just a DM away from like I'll tell you like from TD Jakes, like somebody you can just set up a coffee thing. Like people like. A lot of people like be like a big enough celebrity like J-Lo and they don't follow a lot of people like certain like they're super fans like just go through the people they follow and people like J-Lo follows you. I'm like yes I know.
It's like yes I noticed it. I got the notification.
And it's like it's the big people like from like the Naomi Campbells. Like I'll tell you, like it's about the quality of people that I have more so the number. It's like the people like if I wanted like some coffee with this person, I can send them a DM, and they're like they'll try and like put it in their schedule to do this to do that. Well, I was like they definitely would not do that for my personal page.
Well, you mentioned Steve-O. Talk about your relationship with him and the management and some of the artists that you've seen over the years and worked with.
Steve was a guy I met at a very interesting time in my life. Like I say, this was when I think we were all trying to figure it out. We were staying in like this great estate over in Cascade, and he was just a guy. He's a very personable guy, and we kind of bonded over like we were both Sagittarius. Like it would be my birthday, and then his birthday comes right afterwards. Well, we kind of bonded over books and stuff. He's one of the only guys in the house that read a lot, and
and still read to this day.
He's an avid reader. I say I've kind of like my reading because my attention span is horrible nowadays. But like he's still like an avid reader. But he's one of the only people like, oh, you read this book? Like he reads pretty much everything like how I do. And we just kind of built the bond off like it started off books like he just literally it was like, oh, you read this? And, I get some insight from him. I was like, oh, he's actually a reader like I am. And I didn't meet many people around my age who were like, oh, you read books?
Yep.
I had a guy actually met over there too, like Money Making Nick is another guy too. He was a reader too. But like we met at that house, and like that house became like the cusp of so many people blowing up from like Trinidad James, who can say Earth Gang, Jid, like literally these are people like we just hanging out with cookouts like back in the day.
Yeah.
And like I knew nothing about the music industry, like I was saying, like I really wasn't really music savvy. But my guy Steve-O, he was in it, and we just said we built a bond, and then like he pretty much like he's one of those people like I always had like like I never knew he was going to become the person he was going to become, like from all of us sleeping on the sofa or like just sleeping on the patio. But I just always looked at him like he's one of those people like he doesn't have a pride, like he just like I'm not going to go out with you if I don't have any money. He's like, I got you, man. Like, hey, I can take him around girls. He's a cool dude. Like, a lot of dudes aren't like personable or like without having money or like they just don't have a personality. Like a lot of people,
they have to lean. They have to lean into it.
Yeah, they have to lean on either having money or like trying to give them like. I'm like, no, you one of those dudes I can take around women and you not be a creep. Like, you're not expecting that. He's like, we just like me and him. We always make sure the women have a good time. Like, we not them dudes like, oh, we bought them some drinks, man. You owe us, and like. Nah, we come in like, ladies, shots, something on us, and like we agree, we're the same person in that manner.
Yeah. And
like I said, I never knew he was going to like. Of course, he later on ended up being OG Maco, and like he ended up working for QC and so on and so on. And of course, like just my bond we had built, he was like, you're my business manager because like how you feel like people always want to know who you are when you come in, and like saying like to this day, like not still just be at QC, like people like every time you leave, man, nobody asks like, man, like. Who is he, man? Like, what does he do? And he's like, man, he's Holly, man. He does everything, man. Like, what you need? Like,
yeah.
But nah, that's my guy. Like I said, we were doing the music. I was doing the music management side with him for a while, and met a lot of people. Like I was saying, like it was like that industry is very interesting. Like I said, we saw so many people like become overnight celebrities. And like I say, I loved it to death. Like I say, but I moved on. He's still in it because like saying like that's his passion, and he knows like if we can find it once, we can find it again. Like he's never pressed.
Oh
like,
yeah.
He knows he's good at what he does. He knows eventually it's going to happen. And this is like Nipsey said, it's a marathon. Like he's like a lot of stuff. Like if I feel like if I'd have received a lot of stuff at a younger age, I would not been able to handle it or I'd have blew it. Like I've been around so many people who've blown ignorant amounts of money because like they're first of all they're horrible with money management.
I know one or two too.
And I said, and you just weren't ready for it. I probably would have not been ready for it. Like I had a large sum of money when I was around. Like I said, when I went to Miami and probably blew about $70,000 over spent like 6 months. And it's like you look at you young, you don't like I was very horrible. I'm very good at money management. But I was horrible at it then because you always think it's going to be coming in, and it's like.
And that money be burning a hole in your pocket when you never had that much.
Oh, yeah.
Cause now you like I can pull the trigger on all the things I've fantasized. Well, not not everything, but you can start pulling the trigger on some stuff. So the more and more you be holding that money in that account, you be like, I'm finna go and spend about a $5,000 thing, or go on this. Yeah, right. Some stuff that you're not gonna have to be able to.
Yeah, I didn't have any account. Mine was like all cash, but it was like this was. You could that same $60,000-$70,000 that I had would go so much further in this day and age because like the advances in life, like saying like most of the money went toward like hotels, renting cars and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, now of course we have Airbnb, we could do Ubers, But it was literally just like just stupid stuff like that. It was just hotels and literally renting cars, like just to look like more money than you had. And I looked at, luckily it wasn't as much as I've seen a lot of other people blow, but it was always a learning experience, like because people are gonna be with you when you're up, and once the money's gone, people like, I don't know about
right.
Hey, well, thank you for looking out for me. Thank you for buying all the drinks, but.
Well, to piggyback off what you were saying about Steve-O, I hung out with him a handful of times with you, and obviously I know him through you. Just among the peers, the group of peers, he's a really inspiring dude. Just knowing of him, or just being an associate, I see the things that he does, and it's like, man, this is a really intelligent and professional and like successful guy. But in his mind, it seems like it's a marathon. Mm-hmm. Like, so that's what he gives off. And then for him, you see the work ethic, and it's like, oh yeah, like he can do it. Yeah. Anybody can do it. You got to really just put the work in, and it got to make sense.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit before about how some people it's okay to be passionate about something, but then some people will go too far into a passion and won't be focused on
monetizing.
That passion will just be
blinding.
Looking at blinding in the wrong route.
Yeah.
You got to sometimes take a step back and look at it from like okay, what if I didn't care about this project? Where is it going? Or So talked about a little management and music. You've been around a lot of different artists and people, and how have you transitioned into the new acting roles? And that seems to be the newest thing on your horizon, and it seems like you were destined for this.
Oh yeah.
How did that happen?
I've always had a passion for movies. Even I grew up with a TV. Of course, I should sneak. I had a portable DVD player, so I've always been like a avid movie watcher. I used to watch all the movies on TBS Superstation. Like I said, I didn't really have cable. Like we just had like TBS Superstation, UPN. But I used to watch all the movies, like during a movie. I just always been like one of the people just watched a lot of movies, and I was like, I love just like cinema and stuff, and I didn't know how I wanted to get into Hollywood. I just wanted to get into it. Like I say, I still want to do the management aspect of it, but like I said, like when I kind of transitioned away from music, because music, being in management, you're relying on someone else's success to do it. Like, and it's like pretty much babysitting. It's like, so with acting, it's all on me. Like, I know my work ethic, and I know I never have to worry about anything, because like how you was saying, like with Steve-O, like I meant to say something about like saying like how you say like Steve-O doesn't wear suits. Like, I mean, we go in, like he's just a very well spoken person. Like he goes with my parents, like even though he's just a very, like saying he's a hard worker as well. Like I like to we know our work is going to speak for us. Like with management, some of these people, like they'll get big and then they'll start like becoming divas, and they don't that same work ethic that they use to get on. They don't want to have that anymore. They're like, well, I ain't going there. Who gonna be in there? How many people?
Yeah.
And these are the same people who are like perform at a cookout with 5 people just because like this was their passion. Then they get to a point like you have to have that same hunger when you came in. Like So I didn't like okay, depending on other people's work ethic and their thing to put money in my pocket. Like I know with me, like I said, I know how to discipline myself. Like I think I always tell people, I think I'm like the perfect balance. So like I know how to party, but I know when it's time to sit down and handle business. Like I'll tell people I'll tell people like I was telling you before this podcast. Like I knew I couldn't go out last night if I wanted to come here. I didn't want to come here hungover. I didn't want to come here like, hey, my boy, we may have to reschedule this. So I was like, no, I'm just not gonna go out. I agreed to come do this, and I was like, I want to be 100%. Like I literally could come in here and probably do it hungover, but want to be 100%. And it's like that. You have to have that discipline sometimes. Like sometimes, like people hit me up like, I got to be on set tomorrow at 6 in the morning, my boy. I can't come out. Like, it's bad. I don't care. I got 6 girls with me. Like, nah, I can't make it out, my boy. And it's like you have to have that discipline. Like I said, I trust in myself enough to know, and I have to know when to discipline myself, or know when like, all right, it's time to handle business. Like that's when me and Steve, we're big on partying, but we know when it's time to handle business. And like when I got in the act, I was like, I know everything is on me. Like everything, like when I'm on set, like a lot of people, they know like everything. Like I'm just a personality. Like when I'm on there, like I went out, I started doing background probably around 2018, 2019. I was doing like a music videos first, but then I started doing background, and like people, they've seen me now like get speaking roles. People like, everybody just gets to know you. Like they don't even see me in suit. They just see me like people just gravitate towards you. And I'll tell you like it's just like everything's about personality nowadays. Like that's I would tell you like I salute to the Kardashians. They're just personality. People just want that lifestyle, and like most people aren't personable. And like I'll tell you like most of the time like I'm just a personality, and sometimes people just say you just have this look. Like when I come on set, like the director like him bald guy. Like I always tell people I actually do have hair, but my bald like we go back to what we were talking about with the photographers, and like I just stopped. I went to the barbershop. I needed had a photo shoot coming up. And my barber, I was getting my hair cut at West End Mall. You know, like, I got 3, my boy, you know. I'm like, all right, cool. So I waited an hour. He's like, yeah, it's going to be 2 when you get here. I get there. He got 5 people. So I got a photo shoot in like an hour. Like,
Yeah.
And like, there's no way. I'm like, so I just left, went home, shaved my head. I was like, oh, that's a pretty good look right here. I'm like, because I grew my hair out recently. People like, you have hair? I was like, yeah, I just went bald because like I like the look. And I was like, it's very... I really got tired of going to see the barber for 2 or 3 hours every Saturday. Like it was very tight. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I'm like, and like I was like, they're just some of the probably the most unprofessional people. Like barbers, they be like, man, I got 3.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, let me throw this kid in before you. Like,
yeah.
And it's like they don't believe in time. Like,
Right, and
the
then
worst people on earth.
you can't get too mad at them because it's not like you finna go to
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you be like,
It's
bruh.
some old man down there. Like, I got you. Like,
Yeah, I'd be like, no, boy.
I'm good, my boy. But no, I was saying like that's like depending on other people. Like, but I was like now like I was like I like to put everything's in my hands. Like if something doesn't go right or if I'm not disciplined, I know I can't blame anybody else. Like, man, you didn't have those pictures ready. You didn't have this edit ready. Mm-hmm. It's all on me. It's like literally like some days like. So when I go to set, I'm like it's always business. It's always business. Like, I'm always like I'm a networker. Like I'm asking everybody. Like and like people just remember me just off that. Like you want people to get to like you. Ask them what they do. Like ask other people about them. Like, hey, what y'all do? Like you asking the makeup people. Asking the producers, like, how does this money work? Like, how does, like, I'm just asking everybody, like, people, I be on set just walking around. Like, I just be meeting people, like, hey, what y'all doing over here, man? Like, that's dope. You asking the lighting guy, like, yeah, so with the lighting, like, how does this work? Like, and, you know, people just, like, when you're interested in people, like,
yeah.
they remember you. They're like, oh, that's the guy who asked, like, sometimes, like, people like, oh, that's the dude asking about the lighting. Like, you don't even know, and they're like, oh, that's my guy. That's my guy, man. Yeah, he can eat with us. Like I said, like, I always eat, like, with the crew or something, even if I'm background, like, because sometimes they'll seem like, oh, no, he's with us. Like, no, he's a part. Like, it was just because I took an interest. Like, hey, man, I love the lighting. Like, you got to hold that mic up there the whole time, bro.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
I mean, I'm a big like I'm a sponge. So if I'm around people and I see and they're doing creative things that I'm interested in, but I've never had the chance to see the operation or technical side of it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be the one asking all them questions. You know, you gonna have to tell me to leave you alone.
Oh, that's me. That's 100%. On set, that's me.
But like, I just don't see why you wouldn't take advantage. I guess some people would call that like an opportunist. I think it's the difference between being a sponge and an opportunist.
Yeah.
Because like opportunists are like leeches.
Yeah, people
kinda.
can tell when you're generally interested and not being interested to try and get a foot in the door. I'm like, I just really want to know how this smoke machine works. Like that, really dry ice. Like
I'd be the same way, bro.
And it's like I'll tell like I want to learn from like a lot of people. I was literally telling somebody recently. I don't like people who don't try and learn. Like I'm trying to tell like, all right, this is all you have to do this. And like, can you just do it for me? I'm like, so somebody's teaching me something. Like you showing me how to like next. I'm going to become just as good at that as you are. Like, but most people like, yeah, can you just? I hate people like, just do it for me real quick. Like, no, this is how you edit. Like, you just do this. You do. And they're like, just do it for me. I'm like, you're not trying to learn. You just want you just want somebody to do it for you.
Right.
Like, give me something for it if I got to do it for you.
Exactly, and that's exactly like what I like. You just go ahead and pay me then. Like I'm not about to keep doing it. Like they don't. I don't want to be around people who don't want to learn. Like saying like people can tell authenticity. It's like I used to like I'm not trying to get like he trying to get cool and get fun. Like I'm jelly like just jelly and fun. Like man, this is all like the whole just being on set to me every time I still going there. I'm just like amazed. Like it's just crazy, man. Like. I told him, been on Tyler Perry Studios, I'm like, we're in Hollywood now. I'm like, hey man, some nice stuff. Like walking like the different sets and stuff. Like they really built the whole spaceship out here.
And he has the largest film studio in the United States. Yeah, in the United States, right? Man, that's official, right?
Man, yeah, it's official. Like online, like I literally walk around there. Like I probably.
So basically, the statement I just made is Tyler Perry Studios is bigger than Hollywood.
Yeah, most definitely. Like the Hollywood, they have to come there. Like literally. You have to come to him like what? I was recently on a set over there about a week ago. Where like I literally just walk around like when I'm not on set. Like I'm just walking. Like that's a city. It's like he's on a gold mine. Like and he's constantly building stuff. Like you'll see like. When I first got on there, he was building a White House. I'm like, he ain't building no White House. Like, it's gonna be a little small house.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, it's almost the size of the governor's mansion out here.
Crazy. And that's old Fort McPherson?
Yeah, old Fort Mac. That's like all those, and like he does a lot of good for people. Like all those like the bunkers and stuff. He has a lot of low income families stand out there. But like I literally just saw a whole new like where the old like bunkers were. Like,
Yeah.
I did like a little war I was doing like a war movie or something, and it was like I was like this is like a whole other city, and like. It's like he literally has his own. That's literally his own city, and I was like, I'm just so amazed. I'm like, I've never even been back here, and I was like, I'm just walking around. I'm like, man, this man, he literally has a gold mine, like in Atlanta, like, and he's constantly building stuff. Like, I'm like, what's it? They're like, what's gonna be there that we're gonna do?
That's really dope. He's a really great guy.
Yeah.
His story is amazing, and he's a guy that does things for the community.
Mm-hmm.
I wish more people in that position would show up to grocery stores. I mean, my mama personally told me, "Oh yeah, Tyler Perry brought the groceries today." I'm like, wait, where he was at? He was there. Like, what happened? Like, we know, however, that he arranges that. Yeah. He has become a really solid a part of the community, and you know, more than solid. Like that's crazy. That whole studio is just nuts.
Yeah, nah, he's definitely a great author. Like you can't say anything about Tyler Perry. You know what I'm saying? Like you
nothing
like, because like what he's like, he definitely has the niche crowd. Like your mother, your grandmother, them. Because as soon as I told like I tell you told an older black person you in acting, you talk to Tyler Perry, you try to get with Tyler Perry. Like, they love him. Like you can't tell nothing bad about older people. And like that's just him. Like because like he has come from it. And how he said like what he's building over there it's beautiful. Like I said, like I'm just always amazed to be a part of it.
Just remember the Grady days. You never watched the Medea plays and work and stuff. I mean, like in certain classes we would watch that, and that was like a long time ago. So just to think where we've seen his production and his story go to now.
He's had a DVD.
It's nuts, man, and it's just very good that Atlanta gets to be the home of that. Yeah. You know, he truly solidified Atlanta as the new Hollywood. It was Hollywood. It was just a fake term then. It truly is that now.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, go ahead.
I'll tell you, like, I could have done what I'm doing now when I was 24. Like, people, even like when I'm on sets, I'm like, man, I wish I got into when I was like 24, 25. It's like, Atlanta wasn't like that. Like, they weren't filming anything. Like, literally now, like, he's a major part of, even if, like, people don't understand, like, even if Tyler Perry's not doing nothing, like, that studio's been used by all the big people now.
Of
because,
course.
like, you come in here, like,
bro, they had the presidential debates there.
Oh, yeah. They're like the
like,
Victoria's Secret fashion show. Like,
didn't they have that there?
Yeah, they did.
It's that's crazy.
No, he's a genius because, like, how he said, I remember he did, like, I think, I don't know, it was a speech on some award show about how he's saying, like, wanted a seat at the table. He was like, "Nah, I'm gonna build my own table," and that's literally what he did. He bet on himself. Like, I'll tell you, like, you go to that studio, you just come like, you're gonna be so amazed. Like every day, I'm like, man, because if you like see all the sound stages, and it's like he definitely has a lot of people that look like us, and like, I'll tell like people when I first got on there, like I did a few sets, but then you get on Tyler Perry, you see all they got tattoos on their face, dreads. Like he hiring our people, so that's why I'll tell like I never say nothing about like that's the first time like. Around people we grew up with, I'm like, oh, he got some real people working up here, and he like, and everybody said like, I just appreciate the fact he gave me an opportunity.
Oh yeah,
and that's all most people need is an opportunity.
That's all people need, man, and I think it's tremendous, and I'm so happy of it. Every time I ride by this and see it on the highway, I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like, I wonder how he feels. I wonder how he feels when he gets off on his own exit. Yeah. It's just nuts. So speaking of acting, who is your favorite actor or actors? Man, woman. Give me a man and a woman.
All time, I'm gonna have to go with Robert De Niro. Like I'm an avid that's probably another reason I wear suits. I watched a lot of Goodfellas growing up. I had like a DVD. I probably worn that DVD out. But Robert De Niro is the top of the top. Of course, Denzel. But I'm a big Leo fan too, man. DiCaprio is that guy, man. I would love to hang around him. But it's definitely De Niro. Like I love him to death. I would, between him and Martin Scorsese, I just pray to work with them one day. And let's see, actors. I have so many actresses that I love. I've always just been a Halle Berry fan, just because she's such a beautiful woman. But she's actually very, very talented as well.
Yeah.
But I'm more a fan of the younger generation now. before to say like saying like if I were to name some people like I like the up and coming people, like the people who won't come, like because like with acting, a lot of people you don't Samuel L. Jackson, like a lot of people don't get on to their 40s into acting, like
Yes.
how we were talking about like,
particularly black actors.
oh yeah, most definitely, like see that's what like another thing with Tyler Perry, like I love Taraji P. Henson as well.
Yeah.
I'm about to say yeah.
But she had a late start too.
Yeah, that's what like I read her story about how like with the baby boy and like
Yeah.
it's like how she said she moved out there. So I'm like, I'm a big fan of hers. I like certain people's story. Like even if like I'm like, oh man, to see them come from nothing and like I was telling people I like the young guy Leon who plays Leon on Snowfall. Like he was saying like people don't understand with this acting stuff. You literally when you first get started, you can literally go work on a set and go back to your regular job. Like he was still being like a janitor or something. Like after he did Barbershop 3, people don't understand. Like, yeah, you still got to pay bills. Like,
no, for sure.
And he was like the Snowfall thing. Until you get that one big role, like until I get like that one big role, like where like people like I'm like a household name, like how he has Leon with Snowfall. He's like, no, I did Barbershop 3, man. I was the janitor at high school, man. Like right after I was on set, like you'll be on set with like you're around Ice Cube and all this. Next day, like, hey man, I'm at work, man. Like he's like that's the hustle though.
Yeah.
And like I was telling people like. That kind of happened to me on Coming to America. Like, yeah, I got to wake up and go help my brother move some furniture tomorrow. But, like, I was just hanging around Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes yesterday, man. Like, literally just talking to these people. And until you get that one role that gets you out of here, like, saying, like, we can do it at a younger age now because, like, saying, like, the opportunities that the black community is giving now. But, like, saying, like, back in the day, man, if you were going to get on, like, you literally had to get luck or you had to do something strange for some change.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love what Atlanta and acting has come for black people now. Like,
yes.
Our voices are being heard.
Yes. And even though we're in a really tough economic time, there is a ton of opportunity in Atlanta. I mean, you know, obviously there's not a ton of new jobs, but you would rather be here if you still trying to get your life together, your shit together rather.
New York or
you want to be here, and it's not a cakewalk here at all. But I'm because I recently went to New Orleans, beautiful city. I mean, full of culture. Bourbon Street is lit, food is delicious. I mean, fell in love with that city in the weekend, but realized like. There's not much industry there.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's a place where people go to enjoy life rather than to get their life together. But there's people that were born and raised there that is still trying to get their life together, and it just makes me fortunate to come. I come back to Atlanta and I'm like, oh, we have new buildings. We have like not abandoned hospitals downtown. Like there's just a ton of opportunity here. And like we're saying, people like Tyler Perry just further solidify that, because a lot of Atlanta spirit is also getting pulled out of it with gentrification, just in general. You get rid of communities and rebuild it, but then you really just get rid of the people. So that means you got rid of you really just kind of pulling the culture out of a city in exchange for a new pretty condo building.
A lot of people who lived there before can't afford to live
so, but even with that happening, you can still be young and black and do very well in Atlanta.
Yeah, you definitely hit something like, I literally, when I go to I could not imagine being born somewhere like, would I be a different person? Like how we went to college in Fort Valley, Macon, like, I don't think all I know is Atlanta grow. I'm like, how do these people, this is how they came up? Like, say, when I go to other places, I'm like, how you say, like, Atlanta, like, I say New Orleans is not a place you definitely. My dad went down there after Katrina because like he didn't have a job. Like I visited a few times. Like it was just different for me. Like that's not the place you visit. Like Atlanta, like that's why like Atlanta's everything. Like it's a home. You can live here. You can party here. You can further your career. Like everywhere. And it's not like the big city. It's not like we're not New York and LA now where it's like LA is too glamorous for me and it's just too much. And New York is it's too expensive for me. For like the cost of living is just so crazy. Up to like Atlanta, you can stand some dope stuff down here for some decent prices. Like,
oh yeah.
And it's like until I get to a point where I can afford New York, I'm like, yeah, New York's not for me either. But Atlanta's like the cesspool of everything. Like it's just a perfect spot for everything. And it's like and it's only getting bigger and bigger. Like how you seeing like new buildings. Like you literally can drive down the freeway just see like the cranes. It's like
they never stop building since the Olympics.
It's only getting bigger and bigger. I was like, in about 10, 15 years, like, man, we're not probably gonna recognize it.
Right.
But we're like, man, this is the city. Like, you're gonna tell people, like, I remember, like I say, I stay over on the west side, and it's slowly being gentrified as well. But of course, I'm never going anywhere. It's my grandmother's house where I stay. But it's just like, in about 10, 15 years, like, my daughter is not gonna believe, like, hey, man, you know, people get shot over here.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, man, nah, this is like a nice spot. Like, nah, like, people get shot, you get snatched out your car at the red light over here, man. And it's like, to see, like, I've seen gentrification staying over where I staying so close to the aquarium and by the stadium. I remember when they were saying, like, my last probably, like, real job I had working in the IT department at Walmart, they told us how much the area's gonna change once the Mercedes-Benz came. Everybody just kept like, when Mercedes-Benz get here, it's gonna change, and it has definitely changed the dynamic of, like, the west side. It's like, everybody, like, if you have a business over by, because, like, people just come to the Mercedes-Benz, of course, just to get the vaccinations. Like, people just there, like, people just come take pictures in front of there, and it's just like business heavy. Like, I know a guy who has a restaurant right there, and he was like, man, most people, they can't take a picture over here, and then, like, they're coming to my restaurant. It's like, but I said, I worked at the Dome, and to see how that has changed, like, the Walmart I worked in, I mean, they bought, like, a Chick-fil-A. They bought a Chick-fil-A, like, over by Washington High. About 10, 15 years, we're not going to notice that area anymore. It's going to be, like, full of condos and, like, just, like...
The same way you said you're going to tell your daughter, like, hey, you know, this used to be a rough area. Yeah. We just rode down Boulevard, 4th Ward, Angier, and it's just, I'm shocked we didn't, because we was talking about other things. I was
going to say something. I'm like, look at this.
I'm shocked that we didn't talk about how different that looks. And just 5 years from now, when I tell people I grew up on Angier and Parkway, they're going to be like, oh, it's nice over there.
Yeah, see.
And it'd be like, oh, no, like, that was the hood.
Yeah,
like I'm lucky to be alive in this house, because that's where I came from, was the hood.
Yeah, like, I'm saying, like, house now definitely very quiet and everything, but, like, I definitely was thinking that, like, they're getting gentrified way quicker over there. Like, the west side's like it's a project, but no, what they're doing on Boulevard, like, they're like, no, this is happening right now. It's not like, it's literally like we're seeing, like, that stuff they're throwing. I remember my mom talking about, like, a little spot they had, like a little rooftop. But in the next 5 years, like, Boulevard is going to be like, just like, hey, man, we used to be out here playing basketball at this basketball court. We used to be out here with Marco and these people, like, and it's like, this is going to be literally like,
shout out to Marco.
Yeah. How they turn Murder Kroger, they have a bar in Murder Kroger now.
Right,
Murder
so
Kroger.
nice.
My mom was like, Murder Kroger's so nice.
It's so nice,
the belt line's right there, and I met me and Steve-O, Steve-O just being the guy who he is. He met Ryan Gravel, the guy whose idea the belt line was. It was his dissertation for Georgia Tech. And,
okay.
Like, we met him, like, Steve-O just, like, Steve-O's a real political person. Like, he reached out to him on Twitter. Like, so what are you doing about, gentrification about this? And, like, and of course the guy, he's kind of like me. He's like, I can't talk to you on Twitter about it, but I do this little event here. And we start pulling up on him. And he's like, yeah, he's a real nice guy. Like, he's a middle-aged white guy. Like, he wants to change the community. He was like, the belt line was supposed to be not what it became, like the money grab, and like, okay, like, he wanted to be this, like, I wanted this to be something like for the community. Right. And of course, like, once like big machines come in there, you're like, all right, this is not what I want. This is,
gentrification coupled with the Beltline project, they kind of ended up becoming a couple.
It's a monster.
Yeah, it's a monster you can't reverse, because it is good for the city, but it's a monster that is slowly eating up Atlanta culture. And, it'll be interesting to see where Atlanta goes from here. So as much praise as we just gave Atlanta is going through a transition of, like, not being able to recognize, but I'm so glad to be here. And if you can call Atlanta your hub and grew up here, you're lucky to be in a city that's transforming, because you're a part of it. Yeah. We're also a part of turning this state blue. I mean, that's, if you grew up in Atlanta, a traditionally red state, and you voted last time,
good job.
Good job. That's history. I mean, that truly is a history. So Atlanta's huge for the Southeast, and I'm glad to be able to call it home. Hey, Joe, you need quality photos?
Yes.
We should book Brian Keith. You need cinematic movie-like visuals?
Absolutely.
You should book Brian Keith. Whether you want to elevate your brand or just flex for the gram, book Brian Keith. And for tuning into the podcast, I'm going to help you save 15% on your next shoot when you use the phrase, "Who touched your head?" Or just tell them Dan sent you. Connect with Brian Keefe on IG at Brian Keefe Photo. Again, that's at Brian Keefe Photo. Thank you so much. So to wrap this up, is there anything you want to say in terms of promoting your brand, business, Upscale Luxury, whatever?
Oh yeah, most definitely. You can follow my page, Upscale Luxury, but follow my personal page as well. I'm about to start something in my backyard, Holly's Hangout. I'm about to make a page for that as well. It's
What's the cover charge?
Oh, it's free, man. That's people trying to get me to Airbnb it out, and like people like, as long as you family, like you're not gonna come up with no ignorant stuff,
bro.
Like, I'll tell you like you're invited. I was like,
you already know, folks is going to be thirsty, bro.
Oh no,
and I'm sure they've already been thirsty.
And how I built, because like a lot of people weren't like, people don't be inviting me nowhere because they just think they make me busier than who I am, and people make me not want to come to events because they think I may be too good for them. But I love a good old ratchet time, but I built it because like I just wanted to, because a lot of people weren't like. And like to see now, like people like, it's certain people like somebody like, hey, I'm out now. People like, hey man, I never get invited to Holly's Hangout. I'm like, hey, you never invite me anywhere. I like, when have we ever hung outside of just me seeing you in a bar,
right,
or just being out and about? And it's like, people like, I'll see you out of spots, but like people don't do that. And it was just something like, because I hate to quote Field of Dreams, but you build it and they will come. I knew. I had a vision for it, and I had a lot of people try to stop it. Like when people died, my mom like, oh, why would you do that?
One of the people,
yeah, people like, cause like this, like when COVID, like she was coming over to the crib a lot, and people like, they don't see when you're building. So I'm like, what are you doing? You just digging up, like having that mud. I like, cause I leveled the ground. I did everything by myself because like people were trying to charge you too much. So I'm like, I said, I'll learn anything myself. Like, so I'll sit on YouTube like. All right, it's hilarious. I called my homie to learn how to. I called Fred Clark to learn how to.
Shout out to Fred.
To put cement down, and like cause like you get the price a lot of stuff. I'm like, all right, that's not in my budget, so I can. It may take a lot longer. Like I had to dig up all that dirt by myself and even the ground out, and of course like you can learn anything. Like, and the people at Home Depot, they're real helpful, and like it's something that would cost $3,000. I end up doing it for like, I'll do it for like $500. I'm like, okay, I did this cement by myself. Like, but it do like give me a price like $3,000. I'm like, you think I'm about to get $3,000 to lay some cement? And it's like I learned it. I learned it all by myself, and it's like that's definitely the next big step in my brand. Like how Dan was saying, like to take my own pictures, like to see my own pictures like that going viral. I didn't know it was gonna be that big. Like, and I got a lot of endorsements like off from like Netflix and Pizza Hut. Mm-hmm. And it's like people literally like when I'm on set, like, cause I still definitely have a passion for doing interior design and just doing all this stuff. Like people be on set like that's not your backyard, man. I seen that. I have to show people videos. Like, no, this definitely my backyard. People like they won't believe it. And like even my bedroom, like
I was gonna say about your bedroom, like
oh yeah, that went crazy too. Man,
yeah.
my daughter's other grandparents, like, that's not your room, man. He's like, let me go. Like they stay in Macon, so they just came up to Atlanta for the first time for my daughter's 11th birthday. And like I was just showing like, cause her dad like he does a lot of stuff too. Like he's into construction and stuff. Like that's not your bedroom, man. And like people really won't believe it. Of course they can be like, I thought that was a magazine or something, man. Like I say when I do the interior design, I do a lot of interior design for a lot of entertainers and stuff. Like and I show them like stuff. They're like, that's actually your room. That's not from a magazine. I'm like, yeah. Like I had Dan say, I've gotten so good with the editing and like they're doing the videos. I know how to stage things, and it's like. It's just certain stuff you have an eye for, and then certain stuff you just like. It's classes like you learn about the rule of thirds and where to put stuff and how it's gonna look. And like I just know viral content and like how Dan was telling me recently, like I can do my own like my picnics and stuff. Like people don't believe the picnics are mine.
Yeah.
Like this girl like recently came. She came in time. She's like, I want one of those breakfasts in bed. I'm like, yeah, I can do that for you. Like people just don't believe like you can actually. They like, hey man, that's nice.
I mean, you definitely had a creative direction, and you need to take advantage of that for sure. I mean, you've become a jack of all trades in your own respect in terms of the things that you have been interested in, and then you just get good at it. And then you just start doing it.
Like we say,
so
I'm a sponge.
You're also, I consider you a close friend.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I've known you for most of my life. Since middle school, we played basketball. Shout out to Study Hall.
Hey, Coach Slade.
Shout out to Coach Slade. Shout out to Gerald, one of my closest friends. Like I've known you for a long time, and it's just interesting to see how we've all grown up, the
Oh, yeah.
things we've gotten into. But you're also an inspiring person for me, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Like how we were just talking about people don't invite me and still think I'm down for. Like I'm still on the west side. Like I was telling him, I'm literally at the corner store that day. I see his dad. I had to imagine like, Mr. Tommy, like, give him holler. Like that. He like, I like, yeah, like, what you doing? I'm like, I'm still over here, man. You know, like, and I said, it's just good to see him. I like, no, I'm still over there, West. I'm still down for an old humble time. And like certain people will holler they make you Hollywood before you actually have because like they see you. And like, now you invite me, like, you invite me to a cookout or something. Like, I'll come. Like, I'm literally not doing nothing most of the time.
I always invite Hollis to the cookouts, and he always
Cookout,
showed up.
Housewarming, anything like say like
Sweater party, ugly sweaty party.
Yeah.
He be there. Like,
Well, I appreciate you. People can follow you at Upscale Luxury, and what's your main page?
monster.
And Mansour Holly,
Okay.
MONSIEUR Holly, HOLLY.
Cool.
And be on the lookout for a lot more content, man. Like I said, like, and you're gonna see me on a lot of. I'm doing everything: movies, TV shows, music videos. Like how Dan said, jack of all trades, man. Like people like. I know we were closing out about to like I did a little baby video, and then I did the Pooh Shiesty video, and like the dude saw me on that one. Then I was on the movie, and the same dude with the sound dude like. You out here working, my boy. Like,
you should have just rolled with us.
Yeah, he like my boy. Like it was in the same. Like I did like the Pooh Shiesty, Little Baby, and then I did the Tyler Perry movie. His new movie coming out, Jasmine's Blues, which was on one of his passion. Like, but the sound is like, hey man, I've been seeing you because like I had the big role in Pooh Shiesty thing. Like, hey my boy, and he will see like man, he like boy, I'm proud of you because like he had put his mask. He like. You out here working, man. He was like, I like, man, 6 days, 7 days a week, man. You can find me on set because, like I said, I enjoy being on set. And I wish I had fun at a younger age, but I found everything when God wanted it. Wanted me to have it.
Everything's about timing. But when them doors, when the opportunity, when them doors, the window of opportunity does present itself, you gotta strike when iron's hot for real. I probably butchered both of them phrases.
Yeah.
But I think you get what I was saying. Yeah, because once they close, you better think of something else.
Oh yeah,
that you're good. Yeah, once they close, it's like the Falcons' chance to win the Super Bowl. Don't unsubscribe after I said that.
Nah, it's not at zero. It's not at zero.
Right, it's not at zero, but it ain't gonna happen.
But no, that's definitely a good thing you said about striking while the iron because like I did get complacent at the time. Like once you do like I did like a big Netflix thing with Jumbo, Yoga, and Jamie, and once like you have to have that same hunger. Like once you get like them big checks, like you have to be back on set. And if you can't be like, all right, I got a nice little check, I can sit down for like 2-3 weeks. You have to keep that. And I've learned that then because like once you had the money, like you just had to keep coming in because like it's a passion thing. Like I definitely did that after like that was my first big check. Like I was paying to get quarantined and all that. But I was like got complacent and it's like you have to strike while the iron hot and like nobody's I'm like I tried to I can take 2-3 weeks off, man.
It's like, no.
And it's just money going out because you're going out every night. So I'm going to Top Golf, we're going out to bars, and then eventually, like, you just have to, like, I'll tell you, like, I'm more happy with, like, I love working. I'll tell you, like, I love being on set. Like, that's, like, I literally work 6-7 days out the week, like, because, like, I don't look at it as work because I love to do it. I'm on there just like how I'm talking to y'all. I be on there, like, I see so many people I know, older people, even young people. It's like, once you get it going, but you just have to keep the momentum. Like, a lot of people just don't keep the momentum. Like, I reposted something the other day about it. I was like, you just got to keep that momentum going. And, like, a lot of stuff is not luck. It's just you being consistent. Mm-hmm. It's just like certain time, like, people just like, oh, I see his face so much. Like, that dude, man, he's like, nah, like, an older dude was talking like, yeah, heard some people were talking about you the other day, man. I'm like, oh, hold on, so what trying to hit? But he's like, nah, man, it was something good, man. They're like, we see you on every set. They're like, dude. And then they're like, and the dude, he's an older dude, he rocked me. He's like, man, you always end up with a speaking role. Like, he's like, man, they just always come pull him. So he's like, I always stick by this dude right here, man. He's like, nah, it was some older women. Because, like, you meet some everybody on set. Like, you can meet, like, 70-year-old, I met, like, a group of 70-year-old women on Tyler Perry, the first shit I did, and they gave me so much game.
Yeah.
And it's like, it'd be older women on there, and people like, I love, we just do this because, like, we just love to be on set. And I'm like, they were speaking so highly, like, the dude, they like, he always gets to speak, and and he's like, man, nah, they were speaking so good, y'all. I was like, man, that's good to hear. And they know you're a hard worker, and they know you're not lazy. You look out for everybody out here.
Well, definitely keep the momentum going. I'm proud of you, I don't, however much that means.
Hey, go on somewhere with all that.
Right.
This man, right? Hey, man.
I'm definitely
brilliant.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm definitely proud of you, man, and I'm very happy you was able to come through and spend some time with us.
Oh, whenever, bro. Whenever y'all need me, man.
Of course, at this point, if you still tune into the show, you know where to follow us. It's at the Dan Show Pod. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dan the Creator. That's the words that's gonna be right here. And Joe, you got something to say to close us out?
Yeah, you can follow me at Joe_404. That's Joe with a 0.
Hey, no, it's so funny, Joe. That dude took your tweet, man. That boy, what's on the Just LA boy?
Yeah, Justin LeBoy.
That's hilarious.
That wouldn't be the first time.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, man.
Bro, Joe is the most low-key viral tweeter ever.
That's hilarious.
Because his stuff be popping up,
Yeah.
and I'll read it on somebody's Instagram, and I'll be like,
Same.
wait, that's
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
And then I'll look, and I'll
I
be
definitely
like,
had that happen a few times. Like, I saw Joe tweet that, man.
Right.
I'm like, oh, no.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
Shout out to Justin LeBoy. Respect.
Hey. Disrespectful.
well, thank everybody for tuning in. If you're a new viewer, make sure to subscribe. And there's audio links in the description if you want to share them. Thank y'all so much. I too will be consistent with this. It's gonna come
All
out
about consistency.
twice a month, every other Sunday, and I just want to grow from there. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joe, for being a great co-host.
Y'all, thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, Holly, coming
you.
through. We out.